risk assessment. So risk is important, and that's I think just understanding the difference between risk and uncertainty. So I feel like there's probably been a couple of questions regarding this, and risk really it's when there's two or more possible outcomes, but the probability, the probability. So you know the probability of risk, whether it's like, I know my risk of drilling a dry hole is this, or or of hitting the target is this, but you have some kind of a probability assigned to that. Uncertainty is when you don't have any idea what the probabilities are, or you can't really estimate that. And I think it's an important distinction. So decision analysis, that's something that we very often build to assign outcomes, probabilities, statistics to activities. So a lot of times that will help us make those decisions. So this is a probability tree. This is, as I mentioned, that book by Mayan, one of the references. A lot of good stuff in there, but it's kind of like, okay, we're going to drill a well. Chances are, 50-50 that it's going to be a producer or dry hole. And then let's say it's, if it is a producer, what are the chances of it being 10 million barrels of oil, or 20 million, or 30 million? And you can assign some probabilities to those and, work backwards. We'll actually do an example of this in just a moment. But they're very useful. I think management, especially if you've got finance folks looking over your shoulder, they want these probabilities. They kind of want a number, your expected value if we do this project. So here's just three generic projects: Project 1, Project 2, and Project 3. So we have Project 1 involves two different operations, A and B. Project 2 is just one, and Project 3 is simple. There's just three. So then we've assigned probabilities to each of those. For the first project, you have a 30% probability of the operation A having that, and you have that profit of $10,000 if you have A, but you only have a 30% of that happening. Where operation B, you have 70% chance of that happening, or that you're going to have to do that, and but the outcome or the loss is $2,000. Whereas for Project 2, we know 100% this operation is going to be good, and it's going to come out as a $1,200 profit, or 1.2 million, whatever it happens to be. And Project 3, again, 50-50 chance of having to do Operation D or Operation E, and the outcome 5,000 or negative 3,000. So how you would go about assign, so somebody's assess the risk and the outcome or profit. Let's see if I can get this pen to work here. We'll try again. So here, oops, I went, darn. Somehow I went back a page. Okay, back here. So here you would just basically multiply the probability times the outcome, the profit. So you'd say 30 times the 10,000, that'd be 30K. Oops, terrible penmanship here. Operation B would be 70. Your probability is 70% times, that should have been 3,000. Not, obviously, these are percentages. So 0.7 times the negative 2,000. So we have the possibility of negative 1,400. Huh. I don't know what's happening here. And then you can just put those together. So if you did, there we go, 3,000 minus 1,400, basically you would have 1,600 here, a positive 1,600. Oh, I have no idea why it keeps doing that. Okay, and project 2, of course, you take the same 100% chance of happening at 1,200, so you know your total profit or your, sorry, I can't figure out what I'm touching here that's making that happen. That should be just at 1,200% chance of that 1,200. So obviously this first one so far, you have 1,600 here. So that's a better deal. And then we'd say, of course, 50% chance of making 5,000. So that's 2,500. Oh my goodness. This doesn't like me too well. Nope. That should say 2,500. Hopefully you all can write better than I can. And 50% chance of that negative 3,000. So of course that's negative 1,500. So you take the 2,500, and of course our net there is 1,000. So which one's the best case scenario? The first one. It's the best risk and potential profit outcome. Okay, so you just, any operation is uncertain, especially when we're dealing with reservoirs and things that are 20,000 feet below the surface, and there's always risk in the decision for the operation. So I think this is important to understand a little bit about risk. Let's go ahead and take that one off there.